Close brace. For JavaScript developers, by JavaScript developers. Today's tutorial is short and, I think, fun. We're going to use all of the stuff we did in the last few tutorials to make some nice aesthetic tweaks to our site, while also continuing to demonstrate how passing down values as props works. Let's jump right in by turning our incrementing-decrementing number into an actual loading spinner. We're going to do this entirely with CSS and no images, but first we need some HTML. Open up /source/components/template.jsx, find our current props.progress display on line 14, and nuke the entire thing from orbit like it was an alien-infested mining colony. Next up, just below line 18, our /section tag, add the following code. As you can see, we're now checking to see if the progress prop is anything above 0, and displaying or hiding our spinner based on that. This works automatically because in React, active components re-render when their props change. Since our template receives progress as a prop, it will re-render whenever the value changes. This is one of the best things about React. Also note that inline styles in React require curly braces that contain an object. This is for consistency with DOM properties in JavaScript and also helps with security. Save this file. We'll be coming back to it in a bit, but for now let's add some CSS. Open up /source/css/musiclist.scss. Get ready to add a whole crapload of code. We're borrowing our CSS with a few slight modifications from Luke Haas, who created a bunch of CSS-only spinners. I'll link that page in the YouTube description too. Here's all the code. I'm spamming at you all at once because it's mostly copy-paste, and I recommend going to the text version of this tutorial and copying it for yourself instead of trying to type it all out. As you can see, there's a lot, but it'll look great, trust me. Actually, you don't have to trust me, because you can see for yourself. Save this file, and if your hot module loader was running, you should see that the progress number has disappeared from your pages. Yep. You'll need to do a hard refresh to get the new CSS though. Once you've done so, hit your home page and click the increment-decrement buttons to prove that the spinner shows up when progress is greater than 0 and disappears when progress returns to 0. Hey, there it is. If we increment twice, we have to decrement twice to get rid of it. Cool. Let's make our header swap between a login link and some welcome first name text. Switch back to Sublime. Open up /source/components/template-container.jsx. We're going to need to map our authentication state to props, so under line 13, add the following. And then under line 5, add this code. Now that we have more than one prop to access, it makes more sense to do it this way using variable destructuring rather than always using props.valueName in the code below. This means we can change line 8 from template progress equals props.progress to the following. That's it. We're just passing authentication on down to our template. Save this file, and then head back to /source/components/template.jsx. We're just going to continue bouncing our authentication prop on down the chain to the header, where we'll handle display. Let's do some variable destructuring here too. Below line 9, add this code. Then change line 14 from header username equals anonymous to header authentication equals authentication. And remove the props dot from line 20. We're good here, so save the file. Now that we're passing the authentication block all the way down to the header, let's use it. Open up /source/components/shared/header.jsx. First, we're going to create two helper functions. These guys don't need access to this from our class, so they can just be freestanding functions that take an argument, or don't. Below line 4, add a padding line, and then add this code. Both of these are using ES6 explicit returns, which we've talked about a few times. If you use an arrow function with no brackets on a single line, it assumes you're returning whatever comes after the arrow, which in this case is JSX code. Let's give this some padding too. Your class should start on line 8. To it, we need to add some variable destructuring just under the render method, which with my spacing is on line 25. So just below that, add a line, and add this code. Now let's change line 35. Delete this entirely, and then add this code. We're checking the value of authentication.isLoggedIn and, if it's truthy, rendering a greeting. Otherwise, we're rendering the login link. We're good to go. Save this file and head for a browser. I recommend a full refresh here, not so much because you need it for React to work, all of this stuff should be child's play for your hot reloader, but because currently hard refreshing nukes any logged in user value from the store. That's actually a problem that we're going to fix soon, but for right now it's useful since we don't yet have a logout link. Hard refresh, hide the dev tools, Control H, and click our login link. Now perform a successful login. You'll see two things happen. First, the spinner will probably flash on screen for a second. After that, once you're forwarded back to the home page, you should see your welcome text using whatever value you entered for first name when you created your admin user. Let's give it a try. Pretty cool, right? This is the core of how the React Redux data flow works. In future tutorials, we'll be expanding on this a lot, but the core mechanic will mostly be the same. Next up, we'll tie into the logout function we wrote for our API, and then tackle that problem where the user appears to be logged out whenever they hard refresh. Catch you then.